We are about to open the new North Boardwalk, and I am going to let our county executive speak with you. He's very supportive of everything we do. George Latimer.
Thank you, Peter. Good to see you. Well, thank you very much. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. And like everybody else, I'm as hot as could be. So hopefully we'll try to keep this relatively short. It's really a terrific moment to reopen this boardwalk, which was destroyed back in the tidal waves and everything that came from Superstorm Sandy. And so now we see it in terrific condition as we get ready to enjoy the 4th of July weekend. Let me introduce some of the other elected officials that are with us. We're joined by our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins. Our Commissioner of Parks, Kathy O'Connor, is with us here, and you met Deputy Commissioner Pete Tartaglia. Our Commissioner of DPW, Hugh Grecian, is with us. And we're joined by members of the legislature as well. The legislator for this district, who's also the majority leader, Catherine Parker. We're joined by Terry Clemens, who represents District of New Rochelle and Pelham, and by Nancy Barr, who represents Rybrook, Portchester, and part of Harrison. And my good friend, former mayor of the community, longtime state assemblyman, Steve Otis, is also with us today. We may be joined in a few minutes by our state senator, Shelley Mayer, and as well by Congressman Elliot Engel. A number of us were down at an event in Yonkers previously, so they're in transit, and any of us are happy to comment if you think appropriately. This is one of those few times in government where you get to be happy for the moment. The last time I was before the microphones at the park, we had some bad news about Sprainbrook Park, so we're happy to have good news here in the reopening of this. This is officially reopened for the first time since 2012. We all remember what happened with Superstorm Sandy. I live literally on the other side of the parking lot from here, and the damage that was done, anybody who was down here to watch parts of the boardwalk out in the water saw some real devastation. But after 6 years of construction, this has been completely upgraded with storm-resistant materials. There are steel piles that replace the former wooden ones, and there's a concrete substructure underneath. So whatever happens to the rest of the park and the rest of Rye, this boardwalk and substructure will stand no matter what happens. We've been through big snowstorms, windstorms. We haven't had an earthquake yet, and I don't know about a volcano, but we've gone through just about everything else here. The boardwalk's decking is made of a Brazilian hardwood known as ipe. You can imagine I'm reading it straight from the script because I really don't know this by heart. But apparently this is very strong substance, and it can last for 30 years or more without damage or splintering. I'm not going to last 30 years more, but this deck will last 30 years more. The total project cost of this was $4.6 million and was reimbursement funding from FEMA. FEMA will be returning for an inspection and the final closeout. The expectation is the project will be 90% reimbursed by FEMA. The full boardwalk now, from the south end to the north, spans an uninterrupted 3/4 of a mile with beautiful views of the Long Island Sound. And as many of the people who are here that I see from Rye and Portchester, if you want a good long walk, you include the Edith G. Reed Sanctuary, which is to my right, and then on into Rye Town Park all the way down to Dearborn Avenue. And it's just a tremendous asset that Westchester has this kind of a window out onto the Sound. So there's much to enjoy here at Playland. The weekend, of course, park is open, and lots of fun to be had over the next few days. There will be fireworks at Playland tonight at 9:30 and tomorrow night at 9:30. And hopefully those who enjoy that will come back and be here for part of that. I'm going to ask our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, to say a few words, and then I'll ask our legislator, Catherine Parker, to say a few words. Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, sir. Well, good afternoon. This is a tremendous opportunity because this is the hard work since 2012. The South Boardwalk has sustained the same damage that the North Boardwalk did. And quite frankly, it's been a labor of love through the legislature and for the Parks Department and certainly for Department of Public Works. But because of County Executive George Latimer's leadership, we've been able to get to this place now. People should recall that these dollars were federally funded through the ARA grants that we received from Superstorm Sandy, and that's when we used to have a different level of partnership with our federal government to make sure this happened. And as the county executive said, there is hardening in both the South Boardwalk as well as the North Boardwalk. And you know, as a legislator, a former legislator, and being part of the Board of Legislators, when we were working hard trying to make sure that these things continue to move forward, it is tremendous that today we are where we are to make sure that the people of Westchester can take advantage of our great award-winning and nationally certified accredited county park system, and making sure that they can take the advantage of walking around in the park and to be able to see all the great things that we have on the Long Island Sound and taking advantage of everything else. But it would not have happened without the perseverance of all the legislators, specifically the legislator of the area, now Catherine Parker and her predecessor, Judy Myers, that made sure that we were going to continue to do this together. So I am so happy that we're out here today. The Board of Legislators worked really hard to try to continue to make sure that this happened. And again, under County Executive Latimer's leadership, we're here today opening this up. So certainly, I would certainly love to present the majority leader, my friend, and the legislator that represents this district, Catherine Parker.
Thank you, Deputy County Executive. I am very, very happy to be here. The last time I was here, I was not so happy because it was taking so long to get this boardwalk rebuilt, but it was built stronger and better than ever. And so as County Executive said, this is here. It will last for many, many, many years and withstand many storms. And in this day and age, when we know that climate change is bringing more severe storms, that's a very good thing. I also want to say, for those that are in Westchester County, this is why we consider Playland a park, because this walkway, this is an area that many people like to bike and walk and exercise, and it really is an amenity for all of Westchester County. So I thank all of our staff, our Hugh Grecian, our Commissioner of Public Works, Kathy O'Connor and Peter Tartaglia from our Parks Department, and all the people that worked on this to ensure that we got this back as soon as possible. And again, it is to withstand for many generations to come. So thank you.
I'm going to invite Assemblyman Steve Otis to share a few thoughts. He's a constant visitor down here at Playland.
Thank you, George. You know, I think the simplest thing I can say is to convey how much happiness this is going to bring residents of Westchester County who have missed being able to walk this big span from Friends of Reed Sanctuary, the Reed Sanctuary over here, to Rytown Park. It's going to make a lot of people happy, so congratulations to the county executive, to the commissioner, to everyone in the Parks Department, to the County Board of Legislators who really stood in there to try and get this thing done. It should have been done quicker. It's done today, so we're all happy to be here, and a lot of residents are going to be happy that they can walk this full span along the Sound. Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. And for a comment to legislators Barr and Clements.
Not just as a legislator, but as a consumer, I'm very happy that this is reopening. I have family that come in from out of town, and this is really a gem for Westchester. Whenever they come, they say, let's go up to Playland. They come up here and they enjoy this, and it's a wonderful thing. And we are very fortunate to have Playland right here in Westchester.
And as the legislator for the neighboring districts, Rybrook and Portchester and Harrison, I can say that I'm going to make sure all of my constituents know about this pathway, because I don't know that they do, and I think people in the county should know that they can just come and walk and enjoy the fresh air, even if they're not actually coming to go on rides. So I think that's a wonderful resource we have.
And now our Parks Commissioner, Kathy O'Connor.
Thank you, County Executive. The day after Sandy, Peter Tartaglia and I, along with a bunch of other people, stood on this corner and just looked at the utter devastation. It was the third time in our lifetime that this part of the boardwalk was destroyed. It really broke our hearts, because we also realized what the time, energy, money, etc., what it was going to take to bring it back. But the really, really wonderful story is that through all the efforts that have been mentioned through the county legislator, through this county executive, and for the wonderful staff at Playland and the entire Parks Department, we're here. This is Ipe Wood. It's going to be here long after we're gone. But I just wanted to give a shout out to the manager of the park, excuse me, Frank, who does such a wonderful job here at all times. Frank, Adam, Marty Stonehouse, and a number of other people that are in the back. They live and breathe for this park, and you can see it. Under the tutelage of Peter Tartaglia, we're back on track, and we can now walk the entire length. It's a 3/4 of a mile. It's a fabulous workout. Do it a couple of times, and no place else in Westchester County has this. So congratulations to all of us. It's wonderful that it's 4th of July weekend, and it will be open momentarily. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask Frank and a couple members of his team to come on down and help us cut the ribbon. Come on, guys. Get a few other guys with you, the guys who do the hard work around here. And I want one of our Rye residents, Paul Benowitz, to join us. Paul is an architect. He's also known as a bicycling enthusiast. He wanted to be the first guy to ride on the boardwalk. I don't know if that's ours to give, but Paul, we can have you on this side of the ribbon when it gets cut, so come on over.